Hey guys, it's Dr. Mercy, and yes, I'm in my car. Why am I in my car? I'm parked and I have child pickup today. And sometimes you film videos when you can because I don't always get to be in perfect control of my schedule because it's busy from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. So if you don't like that I'm in my car and you think it's unprofessional, I apologize that you feel that way about your life. I am going to try and give some value here, regardless of where I'm sitting. This morning on my way to work, I had to make a quick stop, and that took me out of my normal path to work. And in order to get back on my path to work, I had to turn out of a parking lot where there's a 5-lane road. That's a major road, and it can get pretty busy. And I needed to get in a half-mile stretch across all 5 lanes to make a left turn. And I get to the last quarter mile, and there's a gap between a white Tesla and a black Jeep that's 3 car lengths long. So I turn on my blinker, and all of a sudden that opening, which I've already started pulling into, is now less than a car length, and the Jeep behind me is laying on his horn, honking, and flipping me the bird. The speed limit in that area is 45. I sped up to 52 to hit that gap that was 3 car lengths long when I turned on my blinker. So I wasn't slowing down the traffic. I wasn't impeding this person's journey. And they chose to overreact. My response was to wave thank you in the rearview mirror, because I then had to immediately, after hitting that gap, get into the left turn lane, and it's a double left right there, and so I was cutting all the way across to the inside turn lane to make a left turn to get to my office. That guy followed me into that left turn lane, acted like he was going to rear end me, and then, still laying on his horn the whole time, by the way, kept flipping me off, rolled down his window, pulled up beside me, flipped me off again, and then pulled out and kept on his way to wherever he was going. That's a pretty sad, miserable human being. And in that moment, I could have overreacted and flipped him off back, or said something, or rolled down my window and said something that was inappropriate. And instead, my immediate thought was, wow, this person really must like to win, because there was a 3 car length gap between me and him when I started pulling into that lane, and he almost rear-ended me. And my getting in that lane and immediately getting out of it to get in the turn lane did not impact his journey whatsoever. And how sad that they are not in control of their emotional state enough to understand that winning in that instance could have done harm to not only them, but their precious Jeep that was all decked out, me and my car, and the car in front of me, who decided to put the brakes on a little bit hard, I think partly because they saw what was happening. And it would have been for nothing, for something simple as someone merging into a lane where there was space. This time of year overwhelms a lot of people because they allow it to overwhelm them. You are the only person who is in charge of your feelings. You are the only person who is in charge of how angry you get, how emotionally upset you become, how frustrated you get. And you are the only person who controls whether you react or respond in a situation. And then you have to suffer the consequences of those actions. That situation this morning, if it had gone the wrong way and he had hit me and I had then hit the car in front of me, would have cost him way more than letting me just simply merge into the lane. And to me, it gave me a lesson to give you guys. When you think about who you show up as in this world, how do people describe you? How do they talk about you when you're not around? And would you let something like that ruin the rest of your day? Because so many people would. And it was less than a 5-minute interaction. It was less than a 2-minute interaction, to be truthful. And that person probably carried it for the rest of their day and let it ruin something else. For me, I just went about my day thinking, I hope that person's okay. People talk about doing a detox, and they talk about doing a parasite cleanse, and they talk about doing fasting for 72 hours or a juice fast or cold plunges. You can do all of that stuff until you get rid of the emotional baggage that you're carrying, until you gain control of your emotions and your mental health, which you have the capability to do. You can't detox. And the best example I can give of that is I had someone who was doing a parasite cleanse with products that were pretty dang strong. 4 months in, we're still showing parasites on our stool test, which is almost unheard of, which meant there was a lot of big stuff there. And she had all the symptoms of like a tapeworm. And we couldn't get that thing to pass. Finally, she did some emotional clearing and some trauma work around a specific incident. 48 hours later, parasite gone. She actually passed it. She could see it. It was quite a large tapeworm. But you have to remember that a detox is not just about juice. It's not just about a drink. It's not just about pills that you take. It's about all of the things. It's about your emotional state. It's about the emotional state you hold yourself in every day, and whether that's one of vengeance and hate, or whether that's one of love and caring. It's about your environment and how toxic your environment is, and whether or not the people you choose to have in your life are toxic. It's about how many chemicals you're exposed to on a daily basis. It's about what you're cooking with and how you're cooking it. It's about all of the things. It's not just, I'm going to detox the cells and my life is going to get better. There's other work to be done. And you can't fully detox until you actually do all of the work. So I'm on day 10 of the 12 days of detox, and we're doing surface level detox, like very surface level detox. And I know it's not going to be enough for the 5 people out of the 50 who are actually participating, because there are other things that they are also going to need to deal with. Whether or not they choose to do it is up to them. If you know you need to detox your life because you're suffering with things like road rage and frustration with everyone at work, and you think everyone else is the problem, that's something we work on in the year-long program. And I'm happy to have this conversation with you about how we can change your entire life around in the next year.